Just wanted to take this opportunity to answer some questions that some of you might have about the apprenticeship with the American Brewers Guild and how it works. First of all, we ask that you are able, or need to check that you are able, to devote a full 5 weeks full-time to working in a brewery. The object of this apprenticeship is to formalize some of the theoretical knowledge that you received during the distance learning part of the class. You'll have spent a week on site with us at the American Brewers Guild Brewery, watching or participating actually in a brew, a full brew of a batch of beer, filtration of a batch of beer, lab work, and the sensory training as well. You'll be given sort of instruction in safety in a brewery, and so we send you to the host apprentice brewery with some tools that you'll need to successfully stay alive, I suppose, from a safety perspective, but avoid injury and be safe in the brewery environment that you'll be getting into. The 5 weeks is designed for you to learn from a professional brewer, hands-on, how to make a batch of beer, how to perform all the tasks associated with brewing, and to that end, we carefully select brewers that are appropriate for that task. We ask that the brewery has a head brewer who's active in the daily activities in the brewery, or has trained operators of the equipment who are also educated. That they are educated obviously at one of the brewing schools, so have the necessary technical knowledge, but also aren't going to be telling you things that are rumor and dogma or things they read in homebrew books. We want people that are educated and trained in the science behind what they're doing, so are able to adequately explain the processes of everyday activities in the brewery. We also ask that they're busy, that they're brewing enough to keep you busy. We ask that they are attentive to what you're doing. And to that end, we have several really experienced brewer mentors that have been through the process many times before and know what to do. We do ask that they're comfortable having somebody around, regardless of their situation. Often they'll want to meet the student ahead of time. If that's not possible because you're traveling a great distance, then we ask that they can talk to them on the phone, so they get a feeling for what you want and what you need. The question has come up a couple of times in the past regarding training of the competition, and there are a number of breweries out there who are reticent to take somebody on who they are aware is going to be starting up a competing business in their own neighborhood. And to that end, that's completely understandable. And so in that regard, I would ask that if that is your plan, then you put aside the money and the time to travel to a brewery outside of your home area to learn these things. And to perform your apprenticeship. That's only fair to the brewery that you learn from. A couple of other handy hints is choose something that is producing beer in a style which you particularly are interested in following. That'd be another reason to travel to another part of the country where there's a brewery that is making the styles of beers that you anticipate wanting to learn about how to make in the future. The brewers' mentors are provided with a checklist. You are provided with forms to fill out every week that you would mail back to us or fax back to us every week to describe your activities, so we can keep track of what you're up to at the brewery. But also, the brewers receive a checklist which goes over a list of expectations, and it is expected that they review your performance and fill that out at the end of the class and send that back to us. We are paying the breweries for the time you're there. Part of your tuition goes straight back to the brewery that you're mentoring at. So it's not a huge amount of money, and it amounts to almost to a bribe to get the paperwork back to us in that regard. But it is a payment nonetheless, and they won't be receiving that payment until they've fulfilled their obligation to fill out the paperwork and mail that back to us. We have deleted breweries from the list and declined brewers in the past based on their performance during apprenticeships. And if there is a problem at your apprentice site, then it's crucial that you get in touch with us as soon as possible so we can make other arrangements if necessary in a timely manner. But there have been breweries that have been deleted from the list, and the reasons range from attitude of brewers and an unwillingness to share information. And in the past, we've had brewers who've seen the apprentice as essentially free labour, and have sent the brewers, the interns, to the most mundane, labour-intensive tasks in the brewery, and left them there to fulfil those for the entire time. We get wind of that. If we can get wind of that early, you'll certainly start doing a lot of the manual labour around the place, and initially almost certainly be handed the job of cleaning kegs, loading bottles on the line to start with. But the expectation is certainly that you quickly move into production and study the more finer, detailed aspects of becoming a brewer rather than just the labour. But it's vitally important that your experience includes time spent doing the sort of tasks that a brewer does on an everyday basis, and that includes cleaning kegs, putting bottles on the line, and various things like that. Ideally, there'll be opportunities outside of the actual brewery itself. Brewers have been involved in representing breweries, have been involved at representing breweries at brewing festivals. They've been involved in training of bar staff. They've been involved in research projects. We had one collect data for a master brewer's presentation for a head brewer. We've had others do gauging of vessels, various other projects that leave the brewery better than you find it. So you take so that you take advantage of having the intern there. But generally speaking, the apprentice becomes part of the brewing staff. Your goal during that week is to make yourself indispensable, to prove to brewers also, most of them know this already, but to prove to brewers once again that an American Brewers Guild education turns out somebody who is ready to hit the ground running when it comes to working in a brewery. You're not there to find a job, to find a job at that brewery. If that happens, then so be it. That's great, and that has happened in the past. But that's not your goal. Your goal there is to learn as much as you possibly can, to soak up all the knowledge that the brewer is willing and able to share, to ask them questions, to ask questions of the staff, and to turn this into a worthwhile learning experience. And any good that comes of that in terms of employment is the bonus that sometimes happens at the end.